Hello, everyone. I'm BREWCITY Scott, and here we are with episode number 46 of the Bearded Respect. And this is Michael, and we've got Jason down here, and we will be right back after this intro video. Hello, and welcome back to the Bearded Respect. Not sure how well that played.
Seemed pretty good to me.
Okay. Maybe it was just me. Okay, welcome back to the Bearded Respect. We have what I think is a pretty good show for you tonight with Bob and Elliot. And why don't we welcome some of these people in?
Yeah. Get back up to the top. We had Travis.
Hey, Travis.
What's up, Travis?
Hello there.
And we had Becky, Miss BREWCITY.
What's up, Becky?
Oh, hello, madam.
And we had David Diablo. Hey, David.
Hello, neighbor.
Diablo, what's up?
We had Scott, big bearded and bored.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
What's up, Scott?
What's up?
MC from Texas. She was in the auction, so she's going to be a new viewer.
MC. All right.
And then there's her husband, Guns and Beards.
Not Guns N' Roses. Guns and Beards.
And Russ. Russ always in here.
What's up, Russ?
Weekend.
Hey, Russ. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, E-Rock.
E-Rock.
We got Mark Brown.
How you doing, Mark?
What's up, Mr. Brown?
We got Chris from True North.
Hey, Chris.
What's up, Chris?
E-Rock's. I'm not tardy again. I'm here. Angie and Alan.
How you doing, guys?
Angry Redhead, what's up?
Hello, neighbor.
Yeah, Eve. We were just a hair late. Just a hair. But there's always lots of things going on behind the screen.
Yeah. Things always seem to go wrong at the last minute.
MC, they got their stuff they won at the auction from Angry Redhead. You love it.
Oh, yeah, that body lotion is something else.
There's Matt Foley.
What's up, Matt?
Hey, Damien, good to see you.
What's up, Damien?
And Gary, hey, G. Lou.
Hey, Gary. Thanks for
You're
stopping
not the
by.
boss of me.
Let's see. Anybody else come in? Whoop.
Oh boy.
I had to click that one.
I'll be right back.
That's me. That's me, Chris.
Yeah, I keep hearing that Chris is going to have a launch date soon.
Yeah. Hey, Tyson. Yes, we're doing well. Glad you. Seems like everybody had a busy Black Friday weekend, Cyber Monday sale going on.
Yeah, what's up, Tyson? Thanks for stopping by.
I don't have
Jay
friends.
Cruz.
I
Hey,
got
Jay.
family.
Jay Cruz, what's up?
Hey, Jay.
Stopping in before bed. Jays. Yeah, Gary. We yep, I think yeah, if anybody has any issues at all reaching out to the companies and stuff, just let me know. You can hit me up on IGDM, but I reached out to pretty much everybody. So I think we're good to go with that.
Yeah, I've dealt with every message I've gotten. So just
So
reach
you-
out, guys, if you have any issues.
Yeah, we'll take care of it. And we're caught up.
Okay, well, with that, I think we'll push our giveaway later tonight.
Yeah.
And just bring our guest in. I think a lot of you are aware of who he is. He's a pretty big content creator on Instagram and TikTok. And so with that, we'll bring Bob and Elliot.
Bob and
Hello,
Bob.
hello. So glad to be here.
thank you for coming on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Lots of fans in the chat right here. So
Oh, that's awesome.
There's BGG Grooming. Are you
Hey,
familiar
Dagan.
with Dagan at all?
Yeah, I follow him on Instagram. If I remember right, I think he's out of Michigan, isn't he?
Texas.
He's out of
Texas.
Texas.
I was close. I lived in both states, so I mean that's pretty close.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got a pretty thick stash too.
Oh yeah, he does.
He does a lot of mustache wax reviews and stuff.
Oh yeah. I try to stay away from those because for me, a lot of people ask me like, "What's your favorite this? What's the best that?" And it's like asking me what my favorite food is or what the best shoes are. You know, some
Right.
things work well for me and may not work for other people, or they may not like
Right.
it. So I usually try to say like, this is how I used it, and this is the effect I had. You know, and this is, you know, the end result.
Right. Yeah. Definitely.
So Bob, why don't you tell us how this all started for you? Like, how did Elliot? Tell us about Elliot's birth and how this all started for you.
Yeah. Well, I got out of the Army in 2005, and from 2005 to 2018, I was growing different beards. I wasn't using anything other than like say head shampoo, and for me that dried out my skin and it dried out the hair, a lot of ingrown hairs, a lot of straw, itchy skin, so I'd always shave them off. So finally, a friend of mine at work said, "I dare you to grow a beard for a year." And so I took that challenge, and I got into like month 3, and it was getting scaly and it was getting itchy, and I started using beard care. And when I got to the year mark, I was like, I gotta do a competition. And I was looking around, and I think nationals or worlds or something had just finished up in Richmond, and so I had missed it. And then COVID hit in 2020, so all the competitions that were scheduled got delayed until September, October, and then when it got to about August, they delayed them even more. So I said, well, I had a good year, went 20 months, but I think I've got a pretty good mustache. So I took the beard off, and I was just going to keep the mustache for like 3 weeks. Then several companies had reached out and said, hey, we'd love for you to try our wax, right? So go back a little bit. In the first stages of me styling my mustache, I thought it looked pretty good. I look back at it now and like, what was I doing? But I felt really confident one evening and made a post and said, if Sam Elliott and Chuck Norris had a baby, it could be my mustache. And so I said, I'm going to apply for a birth certificate, and I'm going to name my mustache Elliot Norris. And it kind of stuck. So, and then 2020, Death Grip reached out to me and they said, have you heard of this national competition? I was like, yeah, but I don't know if I'm, good enough to do it. And they were like, well, we'll pay your entry fees and send you some wax that's not in stores yet. So I was like, sure. What could it hurt, right? And I wound up taking first place in 2020. So I was pretty excited for that.
That's awesome. And
Yeah, that's cool.
I think so when I first met you, you had actually told me we met in a competition together. It was an online competition, and you told me it was your first competition. I think it was 2019.
Yeah, that would have been the Booze and Beards.
No, Savvy Jack.
Savvy Jack, that's right. The
Yeah.
first Facebook one I did was Booze and Beards, but yeah, Savvy Jack. That was really the first one that I put myself out there, kind of.
Yeah, and I believe you won it. I think you won it, and then a couple months later, you won nationals. If I remember.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised with that one.
Yeah,
because I had taken runner up in a twisted mustache, one, and the guy he did like a freestyle mustache. So obviously, he won that one.
Mm. So what was the bet for the beard? Did you win the bet? Did you win anything?
Oh yeah, I went out the full year, but I didn't win anything other than to say, see, I told you I could do it. But I was very surprised because it was the first beard I had that went beyond here, and
Right.
I mean it was down to like here, and I had never grown one, so I didn't know would it be wiry, would it be curly, any of that, and it wound up being this big blonde beard that was wavy, and I mean I missed the beard, but nobody knew who I was with a beard. I was just another beard in a sea of beautiful beards. So I think the mustache is where I need to be.
Yeah, it's pretty epic mustache.
Oh yeah.
I've trimmed it. I've taken off 13.5 inches off of each side.
Wow.
So I might let it grow out. Worlds is in June, so I really want to stand on stage with Wolfgang Schneider. But, depending on how I get there, I mean, may have to try to do some kind of freestyle, maybe do a handlebar. I've heard the Hungarians are real big over there. So, and I think they're allowed to grab a little bit more hair. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet.
Donald Long, he says, have you ever seen a pic of Bob with his huge beard? If you go to your Instagram and scroll down early on, you have pictures, right?
Yeah, I used to have it pinned. I'll probably pin it again at the top of my profile after this, because what I had 2 things I pinned up there that were temporary, and you're only allowed 3, so I had to remove something off. So I'll put it back up. But yeah, the beard was down here. I liked it. But, everywhere I looked, there was beard, and that guy's beard, and that guy's beard. And I was like, I want to showcase mustaches and, see if I can get other guys to grow them, style them, do something with them.
and now you're seeing more and more mustaches come out of the woodwork.
I'm starting to say I'd like to say that maybe I've had that effect on people, but it's it's not too hard if you can grow it, and there's so many categories of mustaches like there are in beards that it doesn't have to be this big to be, a nice mustache. You got the pencil mustache and the chevron, the petite handlebar. You got the toothbrush, the cookie duster. There's so many where it doesn't have to go way out like that to be a wonderful mustache.
True. Do you think maybe at nationals there were more mustaches just because there were a lot of local guys?
No, I don't think there were any local in the main mustache categories. And I say main because Uber was a new category this year, and that allowed you to have 1.5 inches versus 3/4 of an inch. Plus, you could have a soul patch. So of the mustaches, I think everybody had kind of traveled down to nationals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just seemed like there were a lot of mustaches.
Yeah, I was super excited. And, mustaches carry these competitions, right? Everybody comes for the mustaches, but they stay for the beards. That's why they put us first, right? Because it's so important to the national competition. So I told everybody, don't leave. You gotta give the bearded guy some love.
Yes, those were some impressive beards as well.
Oh yeah. My favorite categories is always the creative with the ladies, because for guys, you grow it, you maintain it, that's your facial hair. But the ladies have to think of an idea, they have to get the materials, they have to put it together, and a lot of them don't do the same creative beard cat. Oh yeah. So if you look at the photo, the one on the left is the longest beard I had before when I used head shampoo. Very dingy. It went from a beard to a goatee because I had a lot of ingrown hairs, and it looked nasty. It felt nasty. The one on the right is after 20 months of beard care, and it was healthy. It was vibrant, and it was a lot of people. Wasn't it hot during the summer? No, because it actually shades your skin from the sun, and it's better to fight skin cancer on your face with.
Yeah.
For me feels cooler in the summer with a beard.
Yeah.
Look at those
I mean,
curls.
now you're making me miss my beard. But yeah, I was going to compete in the natural beard with styled mustache. That was the category I wanted to do, which Wilfred is competed in that, and he's won. So that first year at nationals in 2020, the mustaches went. He congratulated me, and I waited for him, and he came up. It was the online one, and I was telling everybody, I said, this is the guy I feared that if I had competed in this category, this is the guy that I was pretty sure was going to win. And when he won, I was like, oh man, congratulations. He was like, dude, I was so happy when you shaved your beard off. I was like, what? Yeah, I guess blonde beards are like unicorns.
Yeah, there aren't as many.
Yeah. True. Yeah, mostly shades of brown, red, gray.
Gray or white.
Yeah.
Like Steve Fossinot. I always call him Steve Alphabet Soup because I can't pronounce his last name. But he has like a tricolored beard, and that's a nice looking beard. It's a great beard, but yeah, the coloring as well. I think he competed in one competition where it was specifically for that coloring, and he did pretty well.
Wow.
Well, as we talk, I'm gonna kind of honor you. I'm gonna try to style my stash as we talk on the show here.
Is it clean? Is it dry?
It's dry. It's clean.
Which wax are you using today?
I'm using Educated Beards.
Yeah, that is a nice wax, and it smells good as well. My only feedback to them was I got big thumbs. Yeah, I was like, eventually I can't get the last of it down there.
Yeah, we're trying to figure something out. We want to stay with the glass, but you know, we're I know they're trying to figure something out, but yeah, keep talking. I'm going to start with a pea size.
Yeah.
For each side, and work it in as everyone's talking.
So how I like to do it, I always squish it in front of the camera, and then show how sticky it is. Coat the fingers, and then show how sticky it is again. Start right there in that middle. Make your way out.
Yeah.
I see some guys, they'll get the wax, right? And then they'll put it on 2 fingers and they do it like this, but they're usually doing the leading edge and just the tips. And later on in the day, what I've seen in their post is it starts to fall apart right here. It's because, you know, they're not putting enough in. Because, you know, when you put that wax on, you're putting it here, but if you're not getting it in here, then the hair is just going to start to fall apart. Ooh, look at that, center stage.
Oh,
No
you
pressure,
don't have to do
though.
that.
No pressure.
Don't do that. He's not going to be as nice looking as Bob. So,
Well, you just start right in that middle and start spreading it. And then as you kind of rub your hand, you're warming it, plus you're spreading it through. Then what I always tell people is if you put it in a little bit and it doesn't feel like it's made its way through, just take a comb lightly through. Some guys will twist their mustache, right? And what that does is that balls up all the hair like this. And if you need to put a comb in later, now you're running it through like a snag and you could yank hair. I like to align the hair. And then as I put the wax on, I stack it like this. Some guys stack it this way, but I do horizontal. And then I can pull it and create that curl in it. So you're going out on the ends and you go right back to that middle. Because one of the things I talk about is with waxes, you're going to breathe through your nose, you're going to breathe through your mouth, and the more you talk and throughout the day, that'll loosen up those hairs first. So going back to the middle is a good foundation and it makes it stronger. Because out here, not much is going to affect it out there unless, you know, you snag. I bump mine into my shoulder all the time. I smack it into doors. Putting things on, I'm always bending it. Like when I put an English, it's like out to here. So I'm always like worried about, you know, putting stuff on.
Yeah. I think that's the style I like the most is the English, just kind of like sticking out. One of the biggest problems I have, and I bet a lot of people in the chat can relate to if they do their mustaches, that connection to the beard, like separating it from the beard, making sure you don't include the beard.
So my trick that I learned when I had a beard was what you're doing right now is as you start to gather up the hair, right, open your mouth. And if you're feeling tension down there, hold it, take a comb and pluck those hairs out. Because what I found was it made my mustache look a little bit thicker when I styled it. But later on in the day, because, you know, you style it, you're like, it looks good. I'm just not going to open my mouth. And you go to eat something. And as you open your mouth or you yawn, the hairs would just split. And then I would try to pinch them back together. But I found that if I got those hairs out with a comb and maybe took a little bit of wax and just push them down, that eventually it, you know, I got better to where I was separating them before I styled.
Yeah, I gave it a try myself for a little bit. I let my mustache grow, and yeah, that was my big thing too, was getting that separation. And I really don't think my mustache is that long, you know. And I tried it for a while, and I mean it was down past. I mean it was down into my soul patch, you know. It was long, but it just wasn't for me.
Yeah, it took me about 5.5 months of growth over the lip and everything, where putting wax in right here would pull it up and away. So from month like 2 to month 5.5, I had to remind myself, don't chew on it, push it out of the way when I eat. I got really sad because I started, you know, I was drinking a Guinness and I was wearing half of it, and I was like, I'm getting a straw. And then I tried to drink a Guinness with a straw, and I'm like, I can't do it. So I got to find another way, or stop drinking Guinness for a little while. But, you know, styling it away from the mouth or lifting it like this helps a lot. Knife hand helps. because I don't care if it gets dirty. I don't want to chew on it. I don't want to snag it in my teeth like dental floss and lose those hairs. And then all of a sudden you got uneven hairs. Because I think mine right now, if I grab this middle, comes all the way down under my chin.
Wow.
But that makes for a thicker handlebar through here.
Yeah. Definitely.
I always find it funny that I'll talk to guys. And I'm like, have you ever grown a mustache? They're like, yeah, I didn't like it. I'm like, how long did you grow it for? Oh, about a week. I'm like, man, facial hair is a long game. You know, somebody, I grew a beard out for about a month. I'm like, no, you got to go like 6 months before you can say, I can grow a beard, not grow a beard, or I liked it or didn't like it. Most of them, they go 3 weeks and like, it was too itchy. I'm like, you are right on the edge of not being itchy anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, that's like, you know, yesterday being the end of No Shave November, I'm just hoping there's some guys out there that are going to continue to let it grow, you know, because a month's not long enough, you know.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is the No Shave November is, you know, November. So you've got December, January, and February. They're all cold months. So it's like, well, why don't you take it out to the end of winter and see? And now would be a good time to, you know, get you a little bit of beard wash, a little bit of beard oil, and, you know, build that healthy foundation. And then if you decide, well, I want to see what it's like at 6 months or 9 months or a year, you know, you're not playing a catch-up game. And you're not, you know, you don't have a bunch of split ends.
Yeah.
Because I had a bunch of split ends up until I started using beard care. And then, you know, you got to trim those, because once those hairs split, there's no magical formula that puts them back together. You've got to trim off those ends so that they're healthy. Otherwise, it'll split all the way down. So you trim those up and you make it healthy. And then it's a whole game changer, you know, having good beard care.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Is that what you're going for? Is it English?
Actually, I'm going to eventually just point it straight up.
Like a dolly?
Just kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, dollies are nice. It's hard for me to do a dolly and Englishes, to be truthful, because the amount of hair I've got right in here, it's hard to get it out so that it goes this direction and it comes together to a point without it trying to come out. And when I do a dolly, it's like up here.
Yeah, I don't have that much hair, so.
Yeah, when I do an English, the hardest thing, because people think, oh, an English would be easy, but I've had where, you know, they start here and here, and that just, you know, looks kind of silly. So, you know, you got to take it apart, because I want it to be, you know, symmetrical, so flat across here, and I can't do the bow, because from everything I've seen, an English is either straight out or has a slight bow upwards. So it'll have a slight loop upwards, not necessarily a curl, but a slight. And when I try to do that, my mustache goes different directions. So I'm like, if I go straight, you know, there's no different directions.
Definitely.
True North has a question here. Bob, do you prefer mustache wax with lanolin, pine rosin, Vaseline, lanolin? Any preference?
So as far as what it's cut with, I haven't had any preferences. I know some people have a little bit of skin sensitivity to some of the oils. I think tea tree oil, some people can't do. Some people can't do the pine rosin. I like all the waxes, but preferably what I've really grown fond of here lately is beeswax pine rosin mix. I did beeswax straight for the first 15 months, and then for the first 20 months, sorry. And then I got my first thing of beeswax pine rosin mix, and it's a little different putting it in. But what I like about the beeswax pine rosin is it's just tacky enough that as you're putting it in, it helps to grab some of those little straggler hairs, and seems to stick pretty well. But I've had some that are real sticky, and I usually use a paper towel and I've wiped off my hands and done my mustache and look, and I have paper towel fuzz in my mustache. My 7-year-old uses, because I'm in bathroom studio here, and she'll sometimes do her glitter makeup around the sink. And no matter how much I try to clean it up, every now and then I'll pick up a tin and not realize it has some glitter on the bottom. And that gets mixed in, and I'll turn my head and I'll see sparkles in my mustache. And I'm like, oh, man. So what I would say, Mike, is get it out into an English, right? This is what I would normally tell people. Do your stage 1, which is get your base shape. Then let it firm, right? And then come back after about 5 minutes and get you some wax. Don't rub it as much, and then just run it along the mustache and then start to bend it. And what I do is I'll hold it and bend it, and then I pull it like this. So I form, kind of like a bird's mouth, and pull up that way. That way it's making a cone. But if you're trying to make the dolly, or if you're trying to make an open loop handlebar and the wax hasn't firmed up yet, as you're pushing it up and trying to get it, it's going to sag back on you, or it's going to tilt forward. A lot of people ask me, how do I combat that? With a damp mustache, if you don't want to do it with a hairdryer, you can take a brush. And what I do is I brush it along my jawline. Sometimes I come in from behind, because that'll force the hairs to go back towards my cheek. If you brush it from the front, that'll pull it forward. And if you're trying to combat it going forward, roll it from the back and get it along your jawline. But if you hit it with a hairdryer and roll it in from the back, that'll tip it. So that way, when you're putting the wax in, my mustache has a normal tendency to roll forward. And so that helps keep it from tipping too far forward. I mean, this is just beard oil, beard balm, and a little bit of beard wax. And then I used a hair dryer like beard straightener.
Okay. We had one question earlier. Have you ever gotten your mustache caught in a door?
I did get my beard caught all the time in my seatbelt. I've smacked my English on refrigerator doors, bathroom doors, my shoulder, but I have not gotten it caught in a door yet. But I do joke as I'm walking up, if people are coming through a similar doorway, I will turn sideways like this, and they all get a kick out of it. Yukon Cornelius. Yeah, getting the waves is a little difficult. There was a Whiskerina who did a Yukon Cornelius. It was absolutely dead on. It was amazing. Have I ever poked my eye out? I have poked myself in the eye many, many times, yes. Doing an Imperial, as I'm shaping it, I poked myself in the eye. And a funny story, the first year that I was the MC for the Orange County Orange Uncorked Wine Festival Beard and Mustache Competition, the second day, which was mustaches, I made scissor mustache. And so it was pointy on one side, and one side was the handle, the other side was, the shears. And as I walked around trying to recruit people to do the mustache, a woman who was a vendor said, "Can I get a selfie with you?" And I was like, "Sure." So she's holding her phone up, and I'm trying to scoot in to get in the camera, and the scissor part poked her right in the cheek. It's like, oh, and I'm like, it's not real scissors. It's not going to hurt you. It just bent my mustache up. How's it looking, Mike? It's looking pretty good.
It's really hard to do this on a camera.
It is. It is. I think the hardest time I had shaping a mustache was last year, August. MJ Johnson had asked if I wanted to come up and be part of the live promo for Nationals. So I went up to Scranton, and it was still 50 degrees in the morning. And they had us go to the Montage ski resort, and we had to be there at 5 a.m., 4:45, because the news was doing a broadcast from the ski resort, and they decided to put like 5 mirrors on these picnic tables outside while guys did freestyle styling of their beards, and I was doing my mustache. And so it's 50 degrees out, and I'm trying to work mustache wax in. Oh, that was a pain in the butt. And for 3 hours, I'm just like, there. As they brought the camera around, I'm just acting like I'm playing with my mustache. Yes. Do I see my mustache in my peripheral all the time? I can see it now. And what kills me is I will see one side either tip or turn, and I'll look in the mirror and it'll look fine. And then, I'll go back and I'll see one side a little bit further, and I got to play with it because I'm like, everybody's going to see it.
Scott, do that solo picture. Let's see how I did here.
That's it.
There we go.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to tweak it any, you get wax on those 3 fingers, the thumb, index finger, and middle finger, and you just do that cone shaping.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks really good.
Yes, I definitely wish, I need more volume, which my mustache hair doesn't grow very fast at all. Like, this is like 2 years growth. 2.5 years probably.
Yeah, I've met so many guys that can grow a mustache but not a beard, but not a mustache. And they get really discouraged. And I'm like, there is a category for you. I've got a buddy at work who, when he grows his beard, it comes in natural chops and he looks like Wolverine. And I'm like, dude, you need to compete. You are like a natural for the chops.
So yeah, my stash is very thin from here out. However, the other day you did a competition with 2 other guys on Cheerios. To see how many Cheerios you could stack, and you did like 22 on each side.
I did. I tied with Hunter Kelly. I thought I was going to beat him, but I didn't realize he had the length that he did.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to attempt to get 4 on each side.
I had done that challenge with Mons from Norway a couple of years ago, and I tried to do it in English, right? And as we stacked them, it kept getting lower and lower and lower, and then they'll just slide off. So I thought this year I'll do them in big C's. That way, as I stack it and it starts to fold, then that end might hold on a couple. And I think I could have got 23, but there was just a tiny sliver of the hair, and I wasn't sure if I get disqualified if I bent the hair over the lip of the Cheerio. Yeah. But I had 22. It was funny because as soon as I got it on, like one side went forward, one side went back like this, and it was like, and I was like, okay, if I hold my head like this, they won't go anywhere. One side was pressed against my cheek, and I was like, okay, if I don't talk, then it won't fall off. But that was not easy.
It is not easy getting the Cheerio on there.
Yeah, because like you're styling your mustache now. I had the mirror, I had the phone, and then I'm trying to see the hair as I put, and when you get to the tip, it's just a little bit of hair. And as I'm trying to slide that Cheerio on, I kept missing it. My goodness.
Now I'm using honey nut Cheerios. Do you think that matters? Like, is there a difference in weight?
No, I don't think there's much difference in the opening. Yeah, let's see. You're doing it by feel?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a mirror. I do have a camera here. Like, I'm looking at my iPad, but
that might screw you up even more.
Yeah.
So what I found was on mine is I took the first one and tried to shove it in as far as I could, and it kind of squeezed in there. And I'm like, if I could only do that with all of them, they'll stay still. I think Levi, who his daughter was giving him Cheerios to do off camera, I think she was licking them so that they would stick together. Because he had like a stack of like 16 straight up. And I'm like, I don't even know how that's possible. Yeah, mine's going like this, Oh, look at that. You got one on?
I got 2 so far. 2. Maybe I should go to the other side here. So how
Keeping it
many
out.
freestyle styles would you say that you have in your book?
So at one point I had as many as just say 15 different styles that I would do, variations of handlebar. And then there was I get into freestyle, or my first attempt at freestyles was making like double loops. So like closed loop, open loop, variations of the Hungarian, the English. I've done, the dolly. I've done 5 rings on each side, which was a pain in the butt because I got these bear claws here. And as I'm doing them, I'm trying to go behind and tweak it and look in the mirror and get it at the same time. But yeah, it was about 15 different styles that I could do relatively easy. Like natural was one, but it was natural like Wyatt Earp, and then there was a curl like this, and then I would take it out more like a Hungarian. But I can't do the pencil mustache. Somebody's like, "Can you do a pencil mustache?" I'm like, "No, I cannot do a pencil mustache. That's a thin little mustache."
Yeah.
Or I could do it once. That would be it.
So for nationals, you did like the triple
Yeah.
curl.
That was the first time I ever attempted to do that one. That's looking pretty good.
How long did that take you?
In the weeks prior to nationals, just playing around, I had done a closed loop, and then I took the remainder and just attached it to the top. And I thought that looked pretty cool. So what I wanted to do partly was 2 loops and then run the outside in between the 2 loops, right? So it would be like this. It would have 2, and then the outside would come in like that. But as I started going, I'm trying to look in the mirror and I'm trying to do it. And I was like, well, I stuck the 2 loops together. I can't slide the hair in. So I just kind of pinched it to the outside. I did try to do 2 weekends ago. I tried to do a Deathly Hollows. And I had this really cool idea that I would take 3 strands, and the middle one would be the circle. And then I take the top strand, hoping it was, shorter in length, and I could somehow take the circle and take the single strand behind it and just pinch it. And then I'd take the longer 3rd strand and take it out and then bring it up to the top and then bring it down like that. And it was a really cool idea in my head until I found out that the hair doesn't go at 90-degree angles.
Yeah.
So what it looked more like was eyes, because it was more like this, and it had a centerpiece and it had a piece like this, so it looked like eyes. So I could possibly do something like that and then paint my face so that it looked like, something different.
Yeah, especially with the beard designs, that freestyle beard, like hearing how long, like 6-8 hours, and then you see them and they're walking around like they will not move their neck at all. They're
just like that
statue.
Yeah, that looks like a lot of fun.
and if they take first place, they got to stay like that until the end of the show.
Yeah.
They're usually towards the end, but now they've got to compete up and best of show. But I mean, some of those guys, like if you follow Paul Kennedy, he's like a phenom when it comes to freestyle beards, and he does a lot of time lapse videos where he shows. But I mean, they have like these big cylinders they'll stick in. They'll separate all the hair out, and then they spray the hair and like wrap it around the cylinder, and they'll have another cylinder and another cylinder. There's a lot of hairspray that goes into that. Obviously, I don't think you could be much of a smoker if you're going to be a freestyle beard.
Yeah, I don't think that'd work well.
No.
See, who needs beard jewelry? Just use Cheerios.
Yeah. Well, I've got ornaments from a buddy of mine got it when I had my beard that you push a button and they light up. They look like Christmas tree ornaments. And so I'll probably do my mustache out into an English or maybe do that C again and see how many I can hang off of them. Because they weigh a little bit.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Cheerios don't weigh much, but when you stack 22, they start to break.
Yeah, I can imagine.
How many you got so far, Michael?
I got, I think 7. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, that's not bad at all. Is it holding up
7.
pretty well?
Yeah. So far, so good.
Nice. And you didn't think you'd get more than 4 on there.
No. No, I'm
Yeah,
kinda
see,
surprised.
even if you're going to do a Cheerio challenge, trying to do a dolly, you're basically taking the hair and you're going like this, right? So that elbow is not going to let you get too many on there. So that's why I went with that C, because I could stack them. They still have Cheerios. Yeah. I went there. I didn't have Cheerio money. I bought Tastios. Same thing. I mean, I walked in and they got like a $5 box for Cheerios, and it was $1 like 40 Tastios. And I'm like, it's basically the same thing.
Okay, I got 7 on both sides now.
Do they, in freestyle, do they have Christmas tree formation? You could make one. I think some of these guys you see at Worlds that have these amazing ones, if they're not, they have like different designs. I've seen a guy where he had like 2 different birds in his mustache, right? They were small. I think they're using small cookie cutter like things and maybe getting the hair around it and hitting it with the hairspray, letting it dry, and then sliding the cookie cutter out. So maybe if you had little trees, very small trees, and you could get the hair around it. But I get frustrated. That's why I'm not like a freestyle guy. You know, I'm not going to spend 3 hours doing my mustache. The one I did at Nationals was maybe 40 minutes.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm
That's
like,
not
yeah,
bad at all.
I'm done.
That's not bad at all.
Well, it's not like you had a lot to compete against either.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure, so I made sure.
Yeah.
I think Mike even saw me. I was going up and down the registration line screaming, has anybody seen any other freestyle mustaches?
Yeah.
Because I need to bite him in the ear and assert my dominance now.
Oh, yeah, I heard you say that.
Like, I'm either biting them on the ear or peeing on their leg, but, you know, I got to show them who's boss.
Yeah, bearded learner come in a little late. He wants to know how long you've been growing.
So this journey for me started, the last time I shaved my upper lip was December 22nd, 2018. I have trimmed off 13.5 inches off of each side with 5 major trims. So if I just take a little bit off of this end, I don't consider that a major trim. I've trimmed like 1.5 inches, 3 inches, 2.5 inches, 2 inches, so on and so forth. Because I like, I don't know if I have it in here. I don't have my wallet. But I do have, shameless plug. So this mustache, which is my logo, is an imperial mustache. So as you can see, I really like this mustache because it goes from a tapered, thick start to a thin point, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why I always trim my mustache, is to be able to do that particular mustache. The last time I trimmed my mustache, when I did a imperial, it was like up here. And so it went thick to a thin point, and then it was the same diameter all the way up to here. And I'm like, that's not a very good imperial. So that's why I trimmed it. But now I'm like, I'm not sure what I'm going to do for World, so I don't want to trim it now. So we'll see. Although I hear the European circuit, they like the shorter mustaches. My buddy Josh Quinney, he competed in Amsterdam, and he said that the judges preferred the shorter styled mustaches. And there's several that you can do that are much shorter. But I'm like, I'm American. If I'm going to compete anywhere outside or anywhere, I'm bringing big, you know?
Right.
Big, loud, and I'm going to talk slower. Do I have an online store? So all of my social media there, I have a drum page via my bio. And from there is a lot of the companies I've used. I'll have links to them. But I think the top featured thing is a link to the Hudson Farley Etsy page, where there's shirts and hats, coffee cups, hoodies, and the new long sleeves are out. And I'm really excited about the long sleeves. I've got to order some this weekend. It's got the Bob and Elliot text. It'll have some of the like shavers, and then down the arm it says Bob and Elliot, but the logo is on the back. So there's something on, you know, the front, the arm, and the back. I'm super excited. And I think the beanies are out.
Cool. Guys, it is the web address I have scrolling at the bottom.
Yeah. And yeah, if you go to the Etsy page for Hudson Farley, you can filter it, you know, hit the drop down, and it says Bob and Elliot. I think there's 17 items. I got to get me a tote bag for a gym bag. That way everybody knows it's mine. My one before had dogs and cats with hearts all over them. Everybody's like, that's your gym bag? I'm like, yeah, who's going to steal it? You know, and I know it'll be mine, so.
All right, let's see.
How many you got?
This is about much as I can get.
Yeah, look at that. They're staying too.
9 on each side. I don't think I can hold any more on these ends.
Yeah.
But hey.
Yeah, look at
Well,
that. You
that's
thought,
weird.
I can only get 4. Yeah. Yeah, and that wax too that they have. What do you have, the balsam fir?
Yes, the balsam fir. It's the only mustache wax they have. But it's a really good hold, I feel.
Yeah, it's a great smelling wax too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest of the show, I'm just going to bring out things and sniff them.
There you go.
That's what I like to do. Yeah, they have
common here.
wonderful beard shampoo.
That's common here.
I was very surprised that with a single pump, how much it lathers up and it cleans. I was sad though because they shipped me down 3 new bottles, unscented, the pomegranate, I think it is, and then there was a citrusy one, and the citrusy one shattered inside the box, but thankfully they had it in a bag, which kept it from leaking all over. But it's wonderful scents.
Grapefruit. Yep.
Yeah. That one, I was like, oh, it smells so good. Maybe I should just keep the bag. I'm like, my luck, I'd get a little glass shard or something. Does it ever bother me when I eat? So the main way that I combat that is styling. So mustache wax will pull it away, and I generally don't have any issues eating. But if I eat a chili dog, I put everything in the bun, and then I put the hot dog on top. That way I'm not smearing chili into the mustache. But early on, somebody told me just use knife hand and basically just do this. Or you can check out, I don't think I have it still on the stick, or do I? I do. I've been looking for this. My daughter loves to play with this. This is the Mustache Mate, which has a little handle. I think the way that Matt does it a lot is like this, but I think it looks fancier, to put your pinky up and do this and then act all snobby. I have a mustache and you do not.
I don't know if anyone noticed. I just sneezed and my Cheerios stayed. They didn't.
Oh, did it? I couldn't talk because mine were like.
Yeah, well, you had 22 on each side.
I know when Hunter's like, oh, I got 22 on. So I tried. Yeah. I tried to act like I was shaking the camera like this, and like 2 of mine fell off on one side. And oh man, that's so stupid. I'm like, I'll put 2 more back on.
Let's see. I'll go for 10.
Oh, look at you. So once you get it on, bend the tip of the mustache around the Cheerio. That'll kind of hold it in. Too, if you move your head, they won't shift. one of the things I'm excited about is it's getting colder around here. And so I can use a lot more medium waxes, and, you know, you put them on. And then once I get stage 1 done, I'll take my dogs outside. And when it's 20 degrees out, that wax firms up in like 30 seconds. And you come back in and I make that final adjustment. But I mean, most waxes, they have a firmness at room temperature. And then, you know, there's people that are like, well, I went outside and it sagged. And I'm like, well, where do you live? And they're like, well, I live down in, you know, Central Texas. I'm like, yeah, it's 108 degrees. And you try to do like an English, you know, it's going to sag. So do a style. I found that if I take my mustache, style it, and pull it into a really close curl like this, that it tends not to droop as much. And I can just pinch it back together. Somebody said, do I ever think of going bald and mustache? I don't think I have a beautiful head for going, you know, doing the bald look or the shaved look. I think you've got to have more, you know, of a round head, you know, like that. Mine is.
You got to keep your hair as long as you got it.
Yeah, mine
Yeah.
is too much like this. I shaved my head a couple years back and I regretted it because I don't know, I did not look right.
Thanks, Rep.
If I could still grow hair good, I'd have to. It's getting pretty thin. So, I mean, it's at the point where, like, if I wanted to try to do a high fade, that's bald because there was nothing on top anyway. So
Yeah. Yeah, my brother started losing his hair when he was like 22, and mine, I guess where he lost it, I inherited it when I got into my 40s, because my mustache and beard were patchy, and I hit my 40s, and now I got hair on my ears and on my nose, and I got to watch out because I'll get the single eyebrow. During the summer, so I talk about how well a wax holds up to heat during summer reviews. Yeah, that's one of the things. And you can combat it with using a medium and a strong, or doing what I call a hybrid. Style it for stage 1, and then you hairspray on your fingers and go back over the mustache. I don't like to do that because I did that once, and as you can see, my mustache is not exactly even, but I went to work and it was like this. And so I had to tilt my head like this so it looked normal, and trying to adjust it, I had to break it apart with a comb. I've been lucky enough that Viper Razor sent me this wonderful thing to try out with the 7 heads. I'm not going to shave my head, but I have used it in the shower. I've used it with just shave oil. I've used it with shave cream, and this works really, really nice. It's built for heads. So I've got a buddy who shaves his head. He's going to let me come over and shave his head for a video, and then give his honest opinion about the difference between this device and the way he normally shaves it with Dollar Shave razors.
yeah, that's pretty much what I use. Disposable razors, you know, whatever's cheap, I just pick up. But I've seen you doing, you know, you're shaving with is that the one blade razor? Is that what you use?
Yes, let me grab them so I can show them off, because I love these guys. All right. I got all three. So this is the Core Safety Razor. It's about $30 to $40, and it's got a flexing head. This is the Hybrid. This is about a $95 razor. Also has that flexing head. This is my baby right here. This is the Genesis with flexing head. This is like a $300 razor. And what's really neat is, let me take the blade out. These are feather blades. Is that clicking you hear is when you're pushing down and going over a contour, like your jawline, it flexes a little bit. Which I have nicked myself a lot less with this. Every razor has a learning curve. Obviously, a straight razor with no guard has the steepest learning curve. I'm still teaching myself how to use a shavette, but this is the Genesis, the Core, and the Hybrid. And these, when I shave with these, I can go almost 2 days before I'm like, all right, I need to shave again. A lot of disposable, I'd have to shave twice a day and probably go through 5 razors in one shave instance, I guess you would say. So yeah, I love the safety razors. My older safety razor is a Merkur 36C. I guess you would call it a double edge because I can shave this way, just flip it around and shave again. What's nice about safety razors is it has a guard, and they usually have a wide opening so it doesn't get clogged very often. So you can shave without having to rinse it as much.
Yeah, that's my issue, clogging.
Yeah. But with a safety razor, you could nick yourself more. Like I said, it's got a learning curve. But once you are comfortable with it, I shave pretty quick. I've been shaving about 37 years, and I shave with the grain, across the grain, and against the grain. And that gives me a very close shave. There's a lot of people with sensitive skin that they'll get razor bumps. So you don't have to shave that way. But master barbers say, one, treat the skin beforehand. So hot shower first. You can put a little shave oil on, pull down, put a little tension, bend your neck, and do light pressure against the grain, and then treat it afterwards. There's like razor bump creams. You can use a shave oil. You don't necessarily have to use an aftershave that has maybe alcohol in it. Oh yeah, definitely. I'd do it again. Do it again if I could. Although the rule would be I get to keep the mustache, right?
What was your job in?
We'll pretend that it's the old cavalry.
What was your job in the Army?
So my first job was MOS 27 Tango, which was Avenger Systems Repair. That was a Humvee with a missile turret on the back, and it had 8 Stinger missiles and a MP3 aircraft 50 cal on the side. So an M2 50 cal, I'm very handsy. When you fired it, would fire up to 400 rounds a minute, and our MP3 would fire 1,300 rounds a minute. So it was much faster. I was in the 82nd, so we had the only 52 in the Army's inventory that was airdroppable. So the missile turret on the back came off, they drop it together, and they had this sled system with Teflon, and it would pull it up and connect it to the Humvee, and then they had air cover for the airfields. But at the end of my first service, I was like, I'm a first termer. I know you'll guarantee me all kinds of cool stuff when I re-enlist. I want pinpoint assignments. I want a bonus. I want, VIP treatment. They're like, we can guarantee you 17 more years on station at Fort Bragg. And I was like, nope. So I changed MOSs to be electronic warfare systems repair. So the Army's direction finding and jamming equipment. I went to a year-long school out in Arizona to learn all that.
Oh,
Wow.
So Scott was a tanker in the Army, and I was a medic in the Army.
Were you what? Fort Carson, Fort Hood?
Fort Hood, 1st Cav Division.
Yeah, I was 312th MI there in 1st Cav, which was funny because if you remember, Hood Road separated 4th ID and 1st Cav. Well, we were like the only 1st Cav unit that was on the 4th ID side. So what they did was they said, you can't do that anymore. And they moved us all the way to the other side. And I think they put us in with 2-8 Cav. So we had to share like a motor pool with them. I love tankers, but sometimes we get with them, and going to the field, NTC, JRTC with 1st Cav is way different than going with the 82nd. Like, nobody put up concertina wire, nobody put up camouflage on their vehicles, and they were like, we got tanks, we'll just destroy everything. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, so here's the final count. I have 11 on one side and 9 on the other. So
There
this
you
side
go.
is my shorter side. It's not as long as this side, so that's how it ended.
So you want to tell Chris from True North Beard Company why you're doing this? Because he seemed to miss that.
Oh, well, this is just Bob did a competition the other day and with 2 other guys, and they were able to get 22 on each side. So I said, hey, let's see how many I can get.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. 13 Signal Battalion, first cab. Yep. Yeah, I liked Fort Hood. It was a little odd because if you lived outpost, like I lived in Coppers Cove, so we come in the back gate and, trying to make it to PT, and you come over one of those hills and there's a freaking cow right in the middle of the road. Like, you better not hit it or you're going to be paying for that cow and all that stuff. Yeah, Air Defense Artillery really likes their camo nuts. Yeah, I was in 3480A in the 82nd. Now, so who was in the Army in the 90s? So do you remember the Towel Stadium active shooter shooting incident on Fort Bragg?
I remember hearing about it, yeah.
Not particularly.
Yeah, I was on the field.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was a fun morning. We went to do because they had 3 cycles: mission, support, and intense training. And support cycle is your 2-hour recall. So bags are packed, all your stuff is done, your vehicles are already rigged. So if you had to go somewhere, so the way they kicked this off was you did a 7-mile run at a 7-minute pace. So we were a brigade of 1,300 that went down into a fishbowl, surrounded by hills on 3 sides, bright lights, all that stuff. And they had actually taken the brigade formation and it was reversed because of where the brigade commander was talking. Usually he's over here, now he's over here. Well, they had a guy that he hated his unit and had told them he was going to kill them all, and they didn't believe him. And that morning he hid in the wood line, and he opened up with his 22, which was a pop, 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 which, when you're on a military post, it sounds like an M16 with a blank adapter. I'm looking in the wood lines like, who's out there, thinking infantry guys, they're running around popping off blanks. When I turned back around, everybody was laying down low crawling. So now I'm like, great. Now they got a guy popping off rounds. Now they're going to make us get all dirty for this run to show how hardcore we are. So we low crawled, and I remember we, finally they said stop. And then 2 guys were coming across, and one guy's going, Smithy got hit. And the other guy, he's walking, and he's got his hands on his stomach. And I'm like, look at this. These guys brought ketchup packets, right? And then that's when the guy opened up with the Bushmaster. He was the armorer, so he took ball ammo and tracer rounds, loaded up a bunch of magazines, and started firing into the crowd. So, like, tracer rounds are going right by. So it was a wild, wild morning. So the way they fixed it, right, after he was captured, all this stuff, you rub some dirt on it, you walk it off, and then the next week they made us go into the same exact place and do the same exact run over. Right?
Wow.
Fort Bragg, it's a crazy place.
Yeah.
I I didn't serve, but I think I remember hearing that in movies.
Yeah, that was. I think it was the first time that a military base had an active shooter from a soldier, and so they weren't really sure what to do with it. And, back in those days, guys are like, "I hate you all. I wish you were all dead." And they're like, he's just blowing smoke. Well, after that, if somebody said something like that, they started trying to, pay attention.
Cool. How you doing, Louie? One of my bearded rebellion brothers.
Oh.
I believe it's his first, maybe second time here. Kind of cool. So other than Worlds, are there any other competition plans or?
Well, so Aaron Johnston from Honest Amish has worked very hard to put together a competition calendar. And so he's got a page up where you can go in and look for each month, and any competition he has info on, he tries to post it and the link to, either the Facebook page for sign up and so on and so forth. The next big one that I know about, at least it's local here in Richmond, is going to be the Mid-Atlantic Championship at the end of April. After that, Worlds is in June. And I imagine within a month or so, National should be announcing where their next location. I've heard rumors of Florida, which would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But hopefully they do it when it's cooler, because everybody usually styles up in their hotel, and then they go to the thing. And if it's like 103 out and humid, you're going to have freestyles like, or, beautiful curls dipping down. I know what to do, But I would share that. A good foundation. 2 stages of shaping, I think, can really help.
Oh, yeah.
I think you'd see a lot more like hairspray entries.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably hit you up from some tips in September. I'm gonna be in Nashville doing a competition there. I can't remember what it's called, but it's on Aaron Johnson's list.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look at it, because I think Nashville, I'm trying to remember which one's closer, Knoxville or Nashville to me, but I think one of them's only about 6 hours from here. I think I missed the one this year. I couldn't go. I think my daughter was going back to college or something like that, but this is her last year. So yeah, September, I should be able to try to make it down. Oh yeah, it is a really cool experience. Almost any competition's a really cool experience, because one, you're surrounded by people that have similar interests. Sometimes you get to see people that you don't see except for at like nationals, raising money for charity. What was cool about this year's nationals was it was co-evented with the Booze and Bacon. So there was a lot of local people who came for that didn't even know that there was, the beard and mustache competition. And so they wanted photos with everybody. So that was really cool. Felt like a celebrity for the day.
My friend here was saying he's to check out his buddy OG Plum God. Supposedly he's got a nice stash.
Oh yeah, I'll have to get some of this info or go back and read the comments after. I love seeing beards or mustaches. Well, I like seeing beards too, but I want to see more mustaches on the stage, more guys having the confidence, because I think last year at Nationals, there was people that showed up and no one else was in the category. The same thing happened this year. But, you never know. You could show up, there could be 3 of you, right?
Yeah.
So you show up, you're getting a national placement just for, showing up. And sometimes a lot of it's attitude. I got to judge Friday night during exhibition night. And, there's a lot of things going on. You know kind of what you're looking for, but that first impression that you get comes out. You're looking for your favorite top 3, right? And generally, by the time they do the parade, you've got an idea of the top 3, and then you narrow it down to who's first, who's second, who's third, and then, how the ratings go for everybody else. So, that's your time to shine. When you walk up on the stage, interact with the crowd, and you go in front of the judges and do your little quick pass, that's when make sure you show your number. You'd be surprised how many guys had their numbers hanging down by their belt, or they had it stuffed in a pocket. But, because you're looking for that number, so you see him, you go, I like this guy. What's his number? So I can write it down on a piece of paper. So that way, after everybody comes through, I remember to look for these 3 numbers. Those are my 3 I'm really focusing on.
Yeah, that whole thing was an experience. My first beard competition, and just just the whole atmosphere, taking everything in. It was just an amazing time. And we had a bonus. We got to see a world record.
Yeah. The longest beard chain.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool to see. My hat's off to those guys because what's going on, Educated Beards? Because not only did they get the beards together, they stood still, and most of them had been drinking. So they had to stand still, and some of them had to hold the tape measure. And there was a couple of the guys, they were blocking the bathroom, so they had to try to part a little bit as people went under them to go in the bathroom and come back out. So do you need some charisma in front of the judges? It definitely helps.
Yeah.
I mean, your facial hair is what you want them to judge you on. But if somebody is, eye contact with the judges and showing their stuff and all that versus somebody who just walks up and just walks right by the judges, you stop in and you do all of this. Because you're judged on your facial hair, you're judged on your presentation, and you're judged on your attitude. Each one of those plays a factor into what the judges are kind of looking for. Now, I can't speak to the national judges for that particular thing, but I know that's what I was looking for on exhibition night was good quality facial hair, how they presented themselves, but that you get that first impression as they first come up on the stage.
Yeah. I know it helped doing it on the amateur, basically just to get yourself ready for the main event.
Yeah. Because, you got a lot going through your mind on stage. You're a little bit nervous. And so, yeah, bring it. Bring it.
Yeah.
It will not hurt you unless you're up there body slamming the competition.
Oh, and there's that one guy, Pat, who yells everything out.
Oh, yeah. Wayne Pattamore.
Yeah.
Yeah, extremely loud. I mean, there was I haven't seen him in person, but I've seen it at other competitions. There's a guy that shows up, wears like a giant man diaper, and that's it.
Yeah, but gets you
not
noticed.
Are you going to play Wayne Pattamore? Oh, there we go. Yeah. Look at that. Took a first place. Educated Beards.
Yeah,
the guy
he
that
wasn't
didn't
even
want
going to do it.
He was so excited. I know he was riding that high the rest of that day for sure.
Yeah,
it was good to finally meet him too.
Oh yeah.
He kept telling us that the day before, no, I'm not going to do it. No, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, I think that was exhibition night. So that was that Friday. And it was really cool to be able to do the judging part
you
of
only
it.
had the double.
Yeah, I only had the double. Because, I still didn't know which category
You only had the double
girl
there.
I wanted to try natural because the team I was on, we had like 7 guys. And I'm like, if we all go into one category, there's only going to be 3 winners. So that means 4 people will not place. And I'm like, do we have anybody in natural? And they're like, no, we don't have anybody in natural. And I'm like, okay, well, then I was like, well, I don't think many guys are going to do freestyle. So if I do freestyle, there's a good chance I'll come in the top 3. And I wound up taking first place. So I don't mind. But see, like me personally, if it's up to me and I'm judging Moustache, I'm going to be harsher or more meticulous on Moustache stuff. But I think there was like 9 judges.
Yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot.
There was only 3 of us on Friday night.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
nobody tried to bribe me.
I took your advice. I showed each card. I stared them in the eyes until they said okay.
Yeah.
But
yeah, when So you do the parade, and then when
Yeah.
you come back, you stop in front of each judge, make sure that, you know, they can see your stuff, but you hold that card up because they're going to look at you and they need to be able to see your number to write it down. But if you just walk up with your card and go like that, they're not going to remember you. So it's kind of like just turning your head to the side. That's what I do. When I go in front of the judges, I stop, I look them in the eye, I'll turn, and then they'll usually give like a nod, and then you go to the next judge and you do the same thing over.
Yeah.
And that shows a little bit of confidence.
Yeah.
Did you see the guy? This guy was hammered. He was 50 sheets to the wind. This dude's standing at the table doing this the whole time. And then all of a sudden he goes up on stage, and I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a cluster.
Yeah.
And when it was his turn to talk, I think he put pomade in his mustache. And they said, you know, who are you and what are you about? And he's like, I just come up here to show everybody what a perfect mustache is. They're like, okay, over to the judges' tables. And he went to the first judge and started leaning on the table. And he was there for like 3 minutes, right? And I'm thinking, he hasn't moved. And the next guy comes up and he's like, this is who I am, blah, 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 blah. And as he walks up, he had to bump the guy and force him down the table. Now, what I heard was the guy had a beer with him. And they took his beer. And when they took it, he pulled another one out and was drinking it. But what I saw was when he made it to the end of the table, he just turned and walked straight off the stage and just headed out. I think he went to the bathroom or something. But it was definitely hilarious.
Yeah, he didn't make it to the bathroom.
No.
No.
He didn't make it there.
I saw him back at the table like 5 or 10 minutes later.
Yeah, there was
He was
two guys sat at that table, and they were just hammered. The other guy had the beer in his pocket up on stage. He had it right on his pocket, his flannel pocket, and holding one.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, I'm voting for that guy. That's the guy that sticks out in my mind. I don't know who he competed against, but I remember that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wouldn't leave me alone.
I'm not suggesting anybody does that, but
oh, yeah, it was an experience.
definitely was. But yeah, when the creatives came out, what was cool was, you know, you get to go backstage, and then of course Greg Anderson's photography, you know, doesn't cost you anything extra. Those photos have been shared out on multiple websites.
Yeah.
I was just in one that was shared out by a group on Instagram. It starts with a C, Complex. They have 10.7 million followers. And so I'm in a series of the photos from Greg Anderson that was shared out on their webpage. So, I mean, it's really awesome. And he's real cool. You know, you can take one photo or you can do a couple of things. I mean, I think he took like 4 really good photos of me. And if you got a friend you want to get a photo with, you can definitely do it. I mean, there's plenty of time.
Oh, yeah. And Michael actually missed out on that.
What?
Yeah, he wasn't there for my category. We all left the stage. There was no one there, so we just kept walking.
Oh, did you? You could have came back.
You know, I didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah. But one of the cool things was I would go back when different categories was coming up, and I'd get videos of them. So going back and seeing the creative, the ladies with all of their stuff before they went on stage, I mean, that was really cool. The steampunk Harley Davidson parts with a pipe that had the vapor coming out.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just mind-blowing to see. So ladies, kids, you can do this stuff as well. And some of your stuff is truly amazing. The spaghetti mustache was probably my favorite. I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah, that steampunk one was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So,
the Summer Hibbler.
Yeah. Yeah. That's who that was. So what is my favorite category when it comes to mustaches? Well, I mean, I like the handlebar one. I won that one in 2020. But where my favorite mustache to make, which is the Imperial, would now be in the best groomed. And that the best groom is if you have a mustache style that you feel very comfortable making. and it's very symmetrical, right? You're very proficient at it, you'd be in the best groom. So that would be my favorite category to probably compete in. Freestyle, I think, is another really cool category because you can show that mustaches are more than just big open loops, you know, and some of the ideas people come up with are really, really neat. I've seen music notes. I've done scissors. I've seen other scissors done. So that's a cool one. I think the English is a really cool category. The mustache itself is a little harder to make. And most of those guys are committed enough that they shave right here in the middle. And I'm not that committed.
This guy right here, I just find amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
This is just
10
amazing.
hours. And that dude
Like-
probably didn't eat for 24 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, you know, the symmetry on that, if you really look at it, those guys are really good at getting the sides to match. Paul Kennedy is another good one like that. I was surprised he didn't come to nationals. He was in like Washington, I think. So there's Anthony.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, he was walking around like this pretty much all day.
Yep.
Didn't move.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the other guy looks like, I think his name is Joe. And I think, yeah, that one's pretty cool. That's a comb over that you can maybe do. Hey, I know that guy.
Yep.
See, that's another thing. Doing freestyle, I stood out of all the photos that Greg Anderson took of mustaches. They chose mine. Not the Englishes, not the handlebars, not the best groomed. But I can't remember if they put Juno in there or Jono. So there's an English mustache. Now me, I would have preferred it.
So I wonder how many Cheerios
straighter.
you can put on this one.
Maybe you should
I
do
think you can
that
get 50
for a
Cheerios on each
competition.
side.
Show up with the Cheerios on there.
Well, that would put me in a freestyle. But if the Cheerios in any way, shape, or form was helping stability, then I would have to remove them. There's Anthony again. He's out of California. I think he's in the San Francisco area. But yeah, look at that. One piece of it's like a monocle.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the stuff they do is really, really, really cool. Did you get to meet MJ?
For a minute or two, it wasn't long, but
yeah, I mean, he's usually busy running around, but he is a really down to earth, cool dude.
Yeah. And
everyone is just so cool. Like everyone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Death Grip. Yeah, Levi's really, really awesome. So while I was getting ready, I had my little hotel mirror, and they were like, hey, anybody who's going to be styling up for nationals, if you want to come up, we've got an area set up. And I was like, dude, I am styling in front of my mirror. You want to get footage of me? You come down to me because this is where I'm comfortable. And they came down and they were filming us while we were doing it. But Levi had like his phone and he was getting some footage. So I'm like facing a mirror and his phone is like this. Getting footage of me. So I'm trying to piece together like, the double loops, and this phone is like in front of my face, and as I go, he's trying to follow me. I mean, I understood and I was like, okay, but I gotta have a little time to put it together. And you gotta have a little patience. Like I did a live the other day where I was doing a freestyle trying to show people, and I was trying to, once you start splitting the hairs, you got a small surface area, and if you're trying to touch them together like this, and you're looking and you're trying to pinch them and do all this stuff you can't necessarily see. And I had everything right. And I always tell people, clean your hands off, because if you have wax buildup and you're styling your mustache, you're like, oh, I've got it perfect. And your hand sticks, you can pull your mustache apart. And I did that to myself like 3 times. I'd have it perfect. I'm like, well, let me just pinch this together. And it would come off on my hand. And I'm like, oh my God, let me do it one more time. And I'm like, I'm not going to touch it except for this little part. Oh, I got to stop doing that.
That
Yeah,
reel
that's
you
good.
did though, going in and out of the bathroom with someone different in the background was
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah,
Well,
that
see,
was funny.
Find it.
I had seen those trends, and it's basically
Yeah.
where somebody goes by, and in the next one you see them change. And I don't like to do exactly what everybody else does. I like to put my own little flavor on it, I
Oh,
guess.
That was
So
awesome.
I'm surrounded by like America's best mustaches. So I'm like, you guys got to get in on this video. I thought it would be cool to show different things in the background. And a lot of people told me what I was hoping was they went back and watched it again because they're like, I didn't see in the first time that you were throwing up in the toilet or acting like you were throwing up, or that Josiah was in the background, you know, in those
Right.
one-piece pajamas that he wore down to the common area to get breakfast, and he had a safety pin over the butt flap because it wouldn't hold together. I was like, oh,
Oh,
so yeah, that was a lot of fun to make. Moustache Brewer, the Cheerio champion. You gotta make a ribbon like kids would make with macaroni, but put like Cheerios on it.
Yeah, there you go.
Cheerio, my Cheerio, oh yeah, Brewer.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this has been a blast, guys. I should probably be popping off of here. I drank a lot of water, and definitely don't want to hear me relieving myself.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us. I know everyone in the chat really enjoyed you coming on. It's an honor having you on here. Thank you so much.
Well, it's an honor to be here, and I try to get to as many DMs as possible. What I'll say is, like, what I'll get if you're on Instagram and someone sends you a DM, it's usually in your hidden or requested or whatever. Right. And a lot of guys will send me a photo, right? And they'll say, hey, here's my mustache, here's my beard. What do you think? I'm going to think. And I got to tap on it, right, to unblur it. And then I'm like, okay, it's a mustache. So let me answer, and I'll try to answer it. And I did that one day like 10, 12 times. And I had another message, and it was an image. I started tapping on it. It was not a mustache. It was somebody very excited. And I was like, so I do try to answer them, and I will always share my experiences. And by all means, if it helps you out, I'm super happy, because I know it can be frustrating. Like, I didn't know wax was oil soluble for the first 5 months I was styling my mustache. So I had a beard. I put beard oil in and beard balm, and I tried to put wax in, and it would stay pasty. And it was taking me like an hour and 10 minutes to do something with my mustache. And then when I found out, don't put beard oil in, oh man, it was night and day.
Yeah, and I learned that from you. Like, everything that I've done with my mustache, I've learned watching you and your tips. I mean, you're very thorough, and you do it over and over again, which is helpful.
Yeah, I mean, I try to show what I do, because I took what I did from other pieces of, you know, styling that other people had done, and I would incorporate them. Like, in the beginning, I did my mustache like this when it was shorter. But then as it got longer, somebody said make landing strips. So I would rotate it and pinch the mustache in here and then make my bars. And then, you know, I tried twisting it because I saw other people doing it, and my mustache would do that. And then if I needed to comb it, I was like, oh, it's yanking the hair out. Try to unwind it. So I've kind of gone back to, you know, the horizontal shaping.
Yeah, great.
Well, all right. Thank you, guys. I don't know if I need to buy out. You guys will stay on.
Yeah, you should just be able to remove yourself and end the stream. Yeah, we're just going to do a giveaway and then wrap things up.
Oh, excellent. Well, thank you guys for having me on so much. Anytime. I'd love to come back. Maybe I'll style up and we'll both put some Cheerios on. We'll get everybody to do Cheerios, right? Then you'll be able to say, now sponsored by Cheerios.
Yeah, there you go.
Awesome. I tried tagging. I tried tagging McDonald's, because everywhere I go, I'm like, do you have a mustache discount? And sometimes it works, right? And that same McDonald's I went to, I've gotten money off on my McDonald's. So I had, you know, in English, and I pull up and I'm like, Do you have a
That was
mustache
awesome.
discount? And the guy's like, no. What? So I had to go in there like, I'm a 2-time national champion.
Right.
Have you
That
heard of
was
me? And he's like,
hilarious.
no.
That was
Darn
hilarious.
it.
Yeah.
So thank you guys very much. It was my honor to be on with you guys. Great job with the Cheerios. I love it. I love it.
Thanks, Pop.
Yeah.
All right,
Thanks.
guys. We'll see you later.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone who tuned in and who is now watching the replay. All right. I'm Bob, and this is Elliot Norris, my mustache, wishing you a wonderfully bearded day.
Oh,
That's awesome.
So
yeah,
awesome.
that was awesome.
Such a good guy.
Yeah. I probably could have listened to him all night.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely.
Yeah, he's very charismatic. He's a charismatic guy. And all his little reels and shorts he does.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I saw that one where he's going through the McDonald's drive-thru.
Yeah.
That was
fun.
Yes, Bearded Learner, that was a great exit.
Right.
So yeah, we might as well do our giveaway.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm getting that together. We'll play this.
Yeah, Scott and Jason, we need to get you to start shaping your mustache. Just see how many Cheerios we
Well,
can get
I think what I'll do is I'll just take a couple strands of my beard here and wax them and turn them up. See how many Cheerios I can get on.
So hashtag educated, guys.
Educated beards. Live the educated lifestyle.
Yeah, I don't know that mine's that long yet.
Yeah.
Scott,
I actually just trimmed mine before the show. It was getting pretty long. So
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I use the wax for.
yeah.
I was told you don't want to cut those.
but yeah, when Bob said, I got that up here somewhere. If I can remember where I put it. But what Bob said, there it is. Here's my balsam fir mustache wax. But yeah, what Bob said about the opening in his thumb, and Dagan reviewed this. He reviewed this wax, and that was his point too. He said the same thing. So
Well, I never had that problem because I've never used my thumb to scrape it out.
Mm.
I use my index finger. Like that's just my natural thing. So
Yeah, I've used my index finger and it's still kind of tight.
Maybe I got skinny fingers. I don't know. Yeah, my thumb it'd be hard.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would just go to the smaller digit and
But you can they're not guitar picks, but I used to always get it with Jay's. It was like a white thing that you could use to get the stuff out with. Not like Jay's stuff ever needed it. But that would probably work great for that.
Greeter, are you still in here?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
If you're still,
I'm sure he's with the commission by now.
oh, it
Probably.
might be. But he made a comment about getting his package today, but I just wanted to make sure that he excuse me, Daniel the Bearded bid on that one package of 8-bit sample pack and 1 bag of coffee. And he said he got his package. I just want to make sure he reached out for the coffee too.
Oh, I'm sure we'll see him around.
Yeah.
Or you can message him on Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah. I got him. Yeah. Bearded Greeter. Well, he just goes by Greeter now. Yeah. But yeah.
And if anybody, I don't know if anybody's here from Texas yet, but there is a beard competition if you guys are interested this weekend in Keller, Texas, which is basically Fort Worth area. But it's a pretty good charity. That's actually put on by the one who did the steampunk at National Summer Hibbler.
Oh, learners. Oh, what's the giveaway, Learner? The giveaways for Educated Beards, oil and butter.
Yeah, I forgot to say that.
Yeah, we're all sorts. Normally we do this first.
We've been stuck at 8. I think we can roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go, guys.
I should
Hey.
focus. Second time winner.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I shift focus. Just reach out to me on IG. Let me know which what kind you want, and I'll get it out to you.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So, do we have anything else to talk about before we get out of here?
No. Just want to thank everyone, again for their contributions to our charity auction last week.
Yeah.
We raised over 1,300 just on the auction alone. I think we're at 400 on the IG donation button.
I think
which
it's
is pretty
450.
awesome.
Yeah, I think it's 450 now.
Yeah.
Last time I looked. Yeah.
Yeah. So our first year doing it, I think it's pretty awesome. I think it's
Yeah.
I
Yeah, it
really
is.
love this community for giving what you have.
Yeah, we really appreciate it, and we know it was a tough weekend to do it because of all the Black Friday sales, but guys still come out and bid on stuff, and yeah, it turned out really good. I was pretty happy anyway, as well as everybody else, but yeah, we appreciate the great turnout. We had a good turnout, and to all the companies that made a donation. No, Russ. For the auction itself, it was like
13
it's like
something.
yeah, like 13,
It's about
20.
1,800, I think, total. I think about
Yeah.
1,800. Yeah.
And we've still got over 2 weeks on that fundraiser on Instagram if anyone is interested. I started it late in the month, so it's still got some time to run out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we did get a big thank you. We haven't submitted the money yet because we still have stuff that's pending, but we will be sending Zero Prostate Cancer all that money, and I believe the IG just goes directly to them.
It does. Yep. IG handles all the stuff for that. So.
Yeah. So, but they gave us a big thank you for everything we've done this month, which feels pretty good they're a pretty big organization.
Yeah.
So, and I know they do a lot of great things. So that was pretty great. And maybe by the end of that 2 weeks, if we could give them $1,000 with that, that would be great. I just put that number out there. I didn't even think we'd do that well.
Yeah.
But this has been great. So I'm sure we'll be looking at doing it again next year or something along those lines.
Yeah, it was, I mean, it was fun. It definitely was busy, you know. I tried reaching out to everybody to make sure who they needed to contact and everything like that, as well as these guys had certain people to reach out to. But yeah, it it was fun and hectic at the same time. But yeah, I'm thrilled. Like you said, our first auction ever doing anything. I think it turned out really well. And what surprised me too is, like, you know, reaching out to some of these companies and asking them for a donation, and they don't, and they donate, but then in the conversations they're thanking me for including them on the auction. Well, I'm the one that's been thanking them for giving the donation, you know. I mean, I know there's a lot of great people in this community that feel weird about asking for things like that, and I'm one of them, you know. But it was a charity auction, so you know somebody had to do it. But yeah, just for the company to say, "Hey, thank you for reaching out and including us," I'm like, absolutely, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll include whoever. And
Yeah,
even far as our stream, if there's ever any companies who are listening who want to be on the Bearded Respect, we're more than willing to have you on.
yeah, and we
Reach
don't
out.
charge nothing. Yeah, we don't charge nothing. So
Right.
you come on and plug your company for free, and we
Mhm.
have a good time and chat it up.
Yeah. Definitely. But at that, guys, I think we're gonna call it a night.
Yep.
And
Be
we
sure
will,
to tune in next week.
yeah,
Another
we will.
special guest.
Yeah, December's gonna be an interesting month. So
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we got
Yeah.
a great lineup this month. We start
Yep.
with Bob.
Yep. So until next Thursday, have a good week. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate all you.
Thank you.